You're back. This is BuzzChomp, home of fitness and entertainment. We're talking Lovecraft Country, the season or series finale, episode 10, Full Circle. I'm Mandy, and we're going to dive into these OMG moments of this storybook ending. It does come full circle. I will say here that the way the show ended and all that, there wasn't a really big surprise. I've seen online already now people kind of a little disappointed with the way episode 10 ended. I'm not disappointed at all. This was based on one book with one source material, and after the Jiha episode, it took on a life of its own, and they added a lot of things to it. And the book ends with this ending. We got so much more out of this season because they totally made it their own. And I'm okay with the way it ended if this is going to be a one and done. Season 1, that's it. D. Tick's sister and or cousin, both. She's uncursed. Her arm though, I was obsessing over this arm and Dan was like, Mindy, stop. But okay, her arm, a casualty of that. It's not coming back. It was cursed. It's done for. So we see Hippolyta show her something. Obviously, it's her own time machine. And right at the end, we find that she's gotten this really mechanical, futuristic arm now. I'm going to assume that her and Hippolyta are going to go on adventures after this. Her and Hippolyta and Tick's monster. Tick's monster is going to be by her side. All of that. We really see the growth of Dee at the end here with Christina. I've seen some things about, oh, Dee's a murderer now. Dee's a murderer, blah, 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 blah. I like that she killed Christina. Christina took away her brother, cousin. Christina killed Ruby. Christina was willing to sacrifice Tick for her own immortality. Why should Dee help her? And so she uses her new mechanical arm and she crushes Christina just to show who she is now. She's a badass bitch. Ruby, R.I.P. Ruby's the saddest part of this show of, this strong black woman, this talented woman. I mean, we saw her sing in the beginning. We saw her be so confident. We saw her really come into her own. Even though I was pulling for her and Letty to reconcile, to be sisters, they had so much fundamental flaws in their relationship that each of them thought they were right. Letty thought she was right for asking Ruby to betray Christina. Ruby thought she was right siding with Christina and doing something for herself in this relationship. And in the end, she helped her sister and it caused her her life. And so the only thing I would say here is we didn't see her death. I'm saddened by that. We didn't see the betrayal from Christina. We didn't really even see the betrayal from Ruby. We heard about it from Christina. So that I'm a little disappointed in, but that I was like, oh, I knew when Ruby showed up in the car, she was wearing Christina's hat. I kept saying it to Dan. She's wearing Christina's hat. She's wearing Christina's hat. That's the hat that we were introduced to Christina in. That was not a Ruby hat. That was a Christina hat. Christina came exactly where she was. She was exactly like her father. She was exactly like all the other men of the sons of Adam. All she wanted was her own immortality. She was willing to sacrifice her last bloodline. And we see her in the end helpless. She didn't help anyone really. I mean, she kept saying I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. But she was their enemy because what was she going to do with her immortality? She wasn't willing to, quote, find another way. The whole time she wanted his blood. She wanted his sacrifice. Her dad wanted his blood, wanted his sacrifice. To have her end a different way, I don't see how it was possible. One of you guys could tell me what you think would be possible, but that's why I kind of liked that she was just pushed down. She was choked to death. That was it by Dee. Tick, R.I.P. I was hoping that they would change the end. I was hoping he wouldn't have to be sacrificed. I was hoping they would find a loophole that maybe with seeing the world that his ancestors created to do this binding spell on Christina's family and then really on all white people in general, to see that they worked that they were able to not have to sacrifice Tick. But even when Tick is in those last moments with his mom, Nana Hattie's watching and Letty's watching and he says, I don't want to die. If they did change it and had Tick survive, what would that have changed for the story? Would that have changed the way I saw the series? Would that have changed the way you saw the series? I think I would have thought, they just want a season 2. So I like that they stayed true to that and they ended their story, because that's what they did. They ended their story. I will say, when Christina pushed Letty, I was like, no, 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 no. That was like my moment where I was like, okay, Letty's gotta come back. Letty's gotta come back. And like, I was like saying it as the ceremony was going on, the ritual, and I'm like, she's coming back, she's coming back. She must have been protected by Hannah and the ancestors. She must have been protected by that, or Tick protected her, but Tick gave his monster to Dee. I liked that, taking the power, this power away from, you know, these white people that were pushing them down and using them and willing to sacrifice them. And that's what this, I think this whole show is like, they were being used, they were being sacrificed, and now they were able to rise up after all these centuries. A thing I saw online was like, but they're still going into this 1950s or whatever world it is where, you know, white people are still pushing down people of color. For this show and for this season 1, I loved where it went. I loved, it was uncomfortable. It was gruesome. It was weird. It made you think. And then even in the end, there were still questions that were not answered. There were still things. So we could have a season 2 and we could flash forward to George Friedman now, and maybe someone has broken that binding spell, or maybe there's a loophole. I don't know. I don't know that that would be good to see that. I kind of liked this, its own little mini series, and I thought it was fun, and I thought it was good, and I thought it raised a lot of questions, and I thought it showed these amazing characters and had a journey, but we knew where this journey was going, and it stuck to that journey. I'm Mandy. Subscribe to us, channel. This was all about Lovecraft Country. I loved this show. I don't think we're getting a season 2, but comment below, let me know what you thought of the season finale, and convince me that there's going to be season 2. Yeah, kids!